look, like Alex said, this time is different. They're curse words in markets, right? That means that things are about to drop. But when it comes to Bitcoin and this cycle, it really does feel like a lot of things are different. I mean, this is my third cycle, and I could say that from 2021 to now, there is so many differences in terms of the infrastructure, the players. The value proposition of Bitcoin hasn't changed, but a lot has. And so I wanted to kind of compare and open it up. When you guys think about 2021 to now, I'll throw it to you, Alex. What do you see are some of the major differences?
Wow, a lot. I agree with you. There are a lot of differences. I'm going to list off a couple. I'm going to rattle them quick because there was a lot. Think about the market infrastructure, right? 2021 was characterized by firms like FTX, by BlockFi, Celsius. Mashinsky just pled guilty today in the Celsius case.
He did.
Good riddance. And
yeah, sentencing guidelines are 30 years, but he'll get less for pleading guilty. We find out in April what he actually gets.
Wow.
You used to see that guy walking around like Bitcoin and crypto conferences, and I don't know what this is. I can confidently say none of you fit this profile, but you would just look at this guy and be like, he's guilty of something. Just look at him.
I remember Safe Team called him out straight up.
Yes, he did. That was a great one. Well, he said something like, Mashinsky said something like, I don't know, like everyone on Earth all 6 or 7 billion people can earn yield on their Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Safe Team's like, where does the yield come from? Someone's got to be paying that yield. No, so the market infrastructure dramatically different, right? Think about like the last year characterized by firms like Fidelity, Invesco, BlackRock, versus FTX, BlockFi, Celsius, Genesis. Yeah. All of those firms gone. I think the big thing now, I mean, the elephant in the room, or the obvious thing, is the political situation, right? The regulatory political situation. It was already wild enough. If we had done this panel 6 months ago, we'd be talking about how shocked we were that a political presidential candidate was openly embracing Bitcoin and digital assets. I mean, just to be clear, there's many great quotes from President-elect Trump's speech, a great speech in Nashville, that stand out, but he said that he wanted America to be the Bitcoin superpower of the universe, and he wanted it to be the crypto capital of the world. I mean, I can't really think of more bullish language, and I think that's a that's a stark difference than the Biden administration. The Harris campaign tried to they moved a little bit in the direction.
Yeah, they tried to pivot
a little bit.
A little bit.
They said digital assets. Not enough. No, it didn't work. But, I mean, for the first time, you had Bitcoin as a major national political issue. Obviously, we know the outcome of the election. We know the Treasury Secretary loves crypto. He has great quotes that I think you and Natalie have both posted.
Yeah.
And many others, obviously, around him, Vivek and Elon and the Trump children.
Howard
Lutnick, yeah. And Paul Atkins, the supposed reported nominee for the SEC.
Right.
Likes digital assets and Bitcoin. So that is, I think, at the core of why this time is different, is that Bitcoin is not a niche topic. Now, I say that, but I was at Thanksgiving this weekend, and literally I was at a party for a 70-year-old father friend of ours, my family, a family friend. Great party, great man, 100 people at this party in a beautiful house. I've known this group of people for 3 or 5 years, and I got a lot of like, oh man, like congratulations, like the Bitcoins, right? I'm like, yeah, well, I didn't like sell any, like I'm not like driving a fucking Bugatti or anything, right? Like, but like, okay, like thanks for remembering. Only of those like 80 people, maybe 2 actually know anything about it, and they're both like financial advisors. So despite how different it is, despite the president-elect who won the popular vote for the first time in a long time for a Republican, most people still have no idea about this at all. I mean, truly. I mean, if you go out in normie world, like there's no knowledge of it at all, as far as I can tell. So
yeah,
you're saying it's still early.
Yeah,
it's still early. Yeah, I got some of that too. Congratulations on your Bitcoin. So, about XRP, and I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
I got a lot.
Like,
I get a bunch of XRP questions.
What is going on? I don't understand it. Like, it comes out of nowhere from 2018. If you look at the chart against Bitcoin on XRP, it's down 90% since 2018.
The whole time.
And you got this little green candle.
It is that-
And it reminds me of that meme where everyone's like, oh.
Michael Scott comes out of his office. He's like, it's happening. It's like up 1%.
Like, how does this happen? They're great at marketing. I don't know.
Yeah, that one is a head scratcher.
Yeah.
I do like. Look, it's not. I really think actually, even if we're going to talk about this time as different, maybe it's not a cycle. I think it's reasonable to wonder that if the U.S. government or other governments buy and hold Bitcoin, like which is being discussed, that would make it meaningfully different, right? But
Yeah, I think so.
that being said, if it is a cycle, I think the XRP tripled in 3 or 4 days. That's early bull market activity. That's Bitcoin taking a breather. Bitcoin is where
Alt
new
season.
money comes in. Yeah, but it's not like classic end game alt season. It's more like people aren't wiring money in from pensions to buy XRP. Not really that I'm aware of, right? It's typically Bitcoin is money flowing in and then short money taking profits, trying to find shitcoin gains. And I think we're early in that cycle. You'll probably see this several more times if it is a cycle.
Yeah. James, what about you? 2021.
I mean, the one quote that he left off that I thought was critical goes back to what he was talking about the political things was he was going to end the Democrats' unlawful crypto crackdown, which I think is what the main thing is, right? So, like, even if Harris had won, I was of the opinion that it was going to be marginally better than how it was under the Biden admin. Because even if Trump does nothing that he's promised, even if all these people, Bessent, Howard Lutnick, you name it, even if they don't get anything done positive for the crypto space, for Bitcoin in general, it's still going to be better than it was under Biden because Biden was actively hostile because he let Elizabeth Warren make the decisions for the financial regulator. So I think that's how this time is different. I think I used to often describe, so back in 2017, I would go to TradFi conferences and we'd talk about the Bitcoin ETF filings or the grayscale products. And the way I always described it was like it's a call option on a store value asset. Like the payoff structure was much like a call option, but I thought at that time there was a possibility that it could go to zero. I think that like super tail end risk of going to zero is extremely small. I mean, arguably if something goes wrong with the Bitcoin code, maybe then it could happen. But outside of that, I don't think there's anything that's really going to kill it. I mean, you know, the U.S. government could really hinder it if something happens 4 years from now. We get a new president. But it's like not killable anymore. I mean, people would argue it was never killable, but I think like at this point it's gotten, to a whole different level. So that's the main thing that I think has changed. One, the regulatory landscape, and two, I think the left tail risk of really negative returns is. Well, actually, let me say, you should expect that you could go down 50 to 70% from here at any point if you're touching this asset, but. I don't think the 0%.
I think Michael Saylor said it on CNBC today or yesterday morning, like, and Bitcoiners have said this, that like there'll be a time in a year or 2, 3 years where Bitcoin will crash
to 100,000
from 220 to 140. Everyone will say it's dead.
Yep.
I agree with that, James, that the risk of it going away, going to zero, well, I would say it's definitely not priced in. I mean, the market does not believe there's a risk of that, I would say.
Well,
there's no put options out at 15K. There's no volume there.